Okay, so let's talk Bradley. Bradley is a for-profit organisation. The Institute of Husband Childbirth, I think it is, actually makes money as a for-profit venture. People who are Bradley instructors pay every year in order to maintain the Bradley kind of license to practice. They have to follow the Bradley guidelines, and we'll get kind of more into that. So let's start with talking about the history around Bradley. It was happening, it came out about the same kind of time as Lamaze. And that's the same kind of time as that knock 'em out, drag 'em out kind of stuff. So Dr. Bradley started it as an obstetrician in about 1947. And he was born and raised on a farm. He credits a lot of his ideas of childbirth from like just being on the farm and watching animals being born. If you read his books, you know, he talks about the fact that he saw animals being born and he was kind of wondering how come in humans it's so different to the rest of, you know, the rest of the animal kingdom, I guess. He based his ideas on Dr. Grantley Reed's concepts and started doing a lot of coaching with women, talking them through relaxation, talking them through like not being afraid of labor. And he describes in his book a time when after the birth, a woman threw her arms around him, gave him a big kiss and said, "Thank you very much, Dr. Bradley. I couldn't have done it without you." And he says kind of like a light bulb went off when he realized that at that point, possibly the husband was the more appropriate birth coach than the obstetrician. I'm using terminology like husband very deliberately because you'll see that Bradley is written from a time period where we're talking about husbands, we're talking about, you know, male-female relationships, not single women. So it's a method that's based on its time that perhaps hasn't moved along. The book is still called, for example, Husband Coach Childbirth, which obviously, I mean, we'll talk about it when we talk about critiques, but obviously it leaves some people out. So Dr. Bradley was then asked by La Leche League to present at conferences. He became, you know, his method became known. And at a conference, he met Marjorie and Jay Hathaway. They are still involved in the Bradley organization. So Marjorie was very keen to have her baby with Dr. Lamaze, which she did and had a wonderful childbirth. I think she lived in California and Dr. Bradley lived in Colorado, and she moved to Colorado for the time being, you know, like while she was pregnant in order to birth with him. So after that was very successful, she was very excited, they started writing books. So you'll see that many of the books are co-authored by Marjorie or Jay Hathaway as well as Dr. Bradley. And then they kind of took off from there. This then became the method, childbirth education method. It grew. Marjorie and Jay are still involved. There are a couple more people involved now in writing these books. And we'll get on to what's it like now in the next presentation.